Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of your countdown to the local government elections here in the country. We're back again for what promised to be another exciting discussion. I'm here with my co-host Antoine Isonyasi. It's so good to have you on the program.
Thank you, Ali. Good evening to you and to our viewers as well as our guests in the studio.
Thank you very much, Antoine Isonyasi. Well, our guest tonight is Mr. Ebou Faye, who is the candidate for the National People's Party in Banjul. Mr. Faye was born at 8 Spalding Street in Banjul in 1967. Well, as many know, he's a sports enthusiast. I mean, former footballer. I mean, former coach, and currently he's the second vice president of the Gambia Football Federation, and also the general manager at the Independence Stadium and Friendship Hostel. Well, Mr. Faye holds a master's in development studies. Well, he contested in 2018 as an independent candidate and got 1,871 out of the total vote cast, 10,764, which Rohim Maliklo was elected as the first female mayor. Mr. Faye, good to have you on the countdown.
Thank you, Aliu, and best wishes to Esonyasi and also all the listeners. Good evening.
Thank you very much. That's Ebou Faye. We'll go with a short video of his nomination at the IEC regional office in Banjul, and then when we come back, then we'll get into discussion proper. Let's take a listen.
Ebou Faye is contesting under the NPP ticket for Banjul after filing his nomination papers on Sunday with the returning officer of the Independent Electoral Commission for Banjul. Spoke to the press about his plans.
Our first priority is to address how do we mitigate the flooding in Tobacco Road that affected Tobacco Road. Not only Tobacco Road, but London Corner, Losowaf, Ima Omar Sow, and Hopkinson. That was devastating in Banjul. So what we want to do is to make sure we have a team that will look at it so that this time round it will not affect Banjul. We have the waste management system that we need to address. For over 4 years the council have been there, they have only 2 garbage trucks. 2 garbage trucks that was donated by GPA. The council have collected over $500 million, 345 million from revenues, 160 million from AU. Where is it in Banjul? We want to use those resources to invest and transform Banjul.
Suleiman Diouf, the returning officer for Banjul, pointed out that the IEC will continue to ensure a level playing field for all parties in the country.
Whilst they are campaigning, they should let people know that you have to love each other. We are one family in this country. We should continue to guard, jealously guard, what we are known for, smiling coast of Africa. And I am telling all politicians that by the time they go through nomination, there's a document that they sign. That is what we call Code of Campaign Ethics. It is law. Breach of any element of it could lead to the cancellation of their contest.
Bala Gaba Jahumpa, commonly called Action Man, a member of the APRC Alliance, while expressing optimism, spoke highly of the MPP APRC Alliance candidate.
I must appeal to all NPP, APRC, NRP, and all the parties under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Cairo Barrow, who is the leader of the Alliance, that during our meetings, I am kindly appealing no insults. What we should just concentrate on is to sell the development agenda that our candidate has, future Mayor Ebou Faye for Banjul. Development agendas, no insult. We have a development agenda 1. We want to extend the Albert Market.
Basirun Dao, an executive member of NPP Banjul branch, called on party supporters to come out in their numbers on election day and vote peacefully.
We tell everybody to get out and campaign to convince everybody to vote for Ebou Faye for the change that we've been looking for in the last 5 years, to make sure that we bring all the necessary development to the central government to Banjul. We want all Banjulians to be on board, for us to work together to build Banjul, to make Banjul to be a better place.
Party executives, including Mr. Faye, call for peace during and after election. The elections for the mayoral and chairmanship are scheduled for the 28th of May 2023. For QTV News,
Well, that's my colleague Lolly Kamara there reporting on the nomination of Mr. Ibu Fai, the NPP's candidate in Banjul, who is seeking to dislodge the incumbent Rohey Malick Lowe. Mr. Fai, in your interview with the press, I mean, you talk about your plans, you talk about the issue of the flooding in Tobacco Road and London Corner, among areas in Banjul. You talk about the issue of the waste management system in Banjul. I mean, you went further to say there are only 2 trucks, garbage trucks, I mean, which, as you claim, were donated by GPA, and you also made an allegations of millions being received by the council, I mean, from both from EU and, of course, I mean, from revenue. Looking at all what is happening in Banjul, why do you think you are the change maker?
You can look at so many issues. In 2018, we contested. And the issues that we discussed in 2018, nothing has been fulfilled by this council, except the roads project, which was done by the government. There is nothing that can be seen in Banjul that this council have achieved. So that makes us to contest and make sure we address the issues that are still pending, that still needs to be done in Banjul, which has not been done by the council.
And when you talk about the issues that have not been done, what are they, and how are you going to address these issues?
What are they?
Yeah.
1 is the waste management system. 2 is the beautification of Banjul. 3, cleaning of Banjul. Trucks in Banjul. Warehouses in Banjul. Education in Banjul. And so on and so forth. Now, if you look at the waste management system, as I said in that interview, for 4 years, council have only 2 garbage trucks, which we are donated by GPA. If you want to address waste management, there are 3 key issues. 1 is transport, collection, and treatment. Transport, you must have enough transport, garbage trucks, to able to address collection of garbage in Banjul. And that has not been happening. They do collect, but with 2 trucks, it cannot address the collection in Banjul. The treatment happens at the dump site, whereby you can transform the waste to resources. That has not happened even at all, because that site is the most difficult site. You need an expert in waste management to be able to address that. And you need to maybe have public-private partnership and so on and so forth. But the 2 critical issues inside Banjul has not been addressed. That's the collection of waste and having enough transport, garbage transport trucks to be able to collect the waste.
And as you claim, all these issues are not addressed. I mean, how are you going to address them if you are elected?
1 is to have more, to start with, to increase the garbage trucks. Our target is to have at least 6 or 7 garbage trucks to start with. And that should come from, we shouldn't wait somebody to donate us. It can come from the council resources to buy those trucks, employ more people that will be able to do the collections and then move it to the dump site. And for the dump site, that might be a medium term and a long term. That is to get people, get private partnership and so on to be able to address that side.
And aside from the West, what else are you going to address?
Then you look at the election is 20th. Yeah. Then we have June, July, the rainy season. You can see how the flooding affected Banjul last time around. And we should try to mitigate it. We cannot stop flooding because that's the Almighty's will. But we can mitigate the flooding. If you look at the way the Banjul is structured, you have the small gutters, you have the big gutters, and you have the ring canal. The small gutters will pour on water, the water from the rainwater to the big gutters, and the big gutters will take it from the ring canal. First thing is you have to clear, make sure that the small gutters and the big gutters are not blocked, so the water can move freely. But the challenge in Banjul is the ring canal, which is blocked.
As we speak,
let me just continue, right. Which is blocked. There are encouragement within the ring canal. So we need government support to make sure that the ring canal is cleared so that the water can move easily and the wetland can consume the water and the rest of the water can be moved to what we call power machine and then to the sea so that we can mitigate flooding in Banjul.
You talk about the issue of inadequate garbage trucks in Banjul. Like you said, there are only 2. I mean, you talk about issue of flooding in Tobacco and other areas. This require a lot of funds. How much will it take you to address this issue in terms of resources? Have you done any study to know how much you will need to be able to fix this?
The most important thing is the budget of the council has not been approved up to now.
How do you know?
That is public knowledge.
But aside from the budget,
No.
yeah, aside from that, you, as we speak, you are a mayor in waiting. You are contesting. I mean, you want to be the next mayor of Banjul. Certainly, you must have done your homework proper to know how much you will need in order to be able to address these issues. Because you talk about the issue of increasing the number of garbage trucks in Banjul. You talk about the issue of flooding. I mean, it's a huge problem. This requires a lot of money. Do you know exactly, as you speak, how much you will need to be able to address this problem?
Not exactly how much, because you need a study on that.
You haven't done any study yet?
For the flooding,
yeah.
No. I haven't done any, because I'm not in office, so I cannot do that.
Yeah, but
I understand the challenges that faces them. So it's easy for me to know what is needed, and then to get the funds from the council. As I said, the council budget have not been approved. So for the next 6 months, up to December, when we go into office, we'll tailor-made the budget to address these issues that we are talking about. Very simple.
Before my colleague comes in, you said the budget is not approved. Who should approve the budget?
The Ministry of Ministry of Lands.
Why hasn't the ministry approved the budget?
Well, I don't know. They have challenges. The council have their challenges with government for them to address because it was not submitted on time, and there are so many issues within the council and the ministry. So the budget has not. That's why those 5 councillors came out and bring out the issues that we are affecting the council. That's why the budget was not approved.
So you can come in for it.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying your exchange. But yes, so Mr. Fai, earlier you said the council under your incumbent hasn't done anything, basically nothing. She came on our platform, I think, last week, and she made a few claims as well. But I just want to share these few things with you, and then you can react to it. She said that at the time she assumed office, council was highly indebted. And within a few months, under her administration, they managed to clear those debts.
All the loans, yeah.
All the loans, including NAWEC as well. There was not even electricity or running water. She managed to bring that to council. Also, she, talking about the waste management, she admitted it was a challenge, but that, according to her, her administration managed to bring, I think, 4 trucks. I don't know if I'm right on this, but I think 4, if I can remember. Yeah. And also that as we speak, there is at least 2 bins in each household in Banjul. At least there is an effort. You live in Banjul, maybe you can confirm. I just want you to react to these things. And also, increase staff salary by 100%, the street lighting project, and housing. I heard you talk about that during the campaign, which I know you're very much concerned about. That she's managed, or her administration has managed to secure a project to build 1,500 houses for residents of Banjul. This is, again, in relation to this assertion that they haven't done anything. I just want you to react to these things.
Well, when we talk about development, we're talking about 2 things.
Yeah.
One is the tangible deliverables and the untangible deliverables. She's talk about council not having electricity.
Yeah.
And what we are they using?
Generator.
That's they just move from one source to the other source.
Yeah, but at least there's some progress.
They just move from one source to the other source to get electricity. Yeah, she talk about the waste management. 4 trucks we are added to other 2. I live in Banjul. I haven't seen the other 2. What we see Banjulians are watching.
How about the waste bins?
They can attest. Waste bins is just part of the smaller issues that address waste management. If the bins are full, if you don't collect them, what happens?
Yeah, but at least there's an effort.
No, and even the waste bins, we are donated by EU. It was not from council funds. We are not donated by EU. It's not from council funds.
But
See, talk about street lighting.
It was lobbied by the council.
By the council.
Yes, it was lobbied.
I understand all councils in Gambia are financially really constrained.
No.
That is a general problem.
No.
Yes.
No. The council in 2018, they came into office in 2018. In 2019, their revenue was 54 million.
Yeah.
In 2019, 2020, their revenue was 64 million. In 2021, 72 million. In 2022, 155 million. If we apply...
That is the revenue.
That's the revenue.
What's the expenditure?
Yes, I'm coming. That was the revenue. If we apply the prescription of the act, that is 60-40.
Yeah.
40 for administration, 60 for development. So if you take the total of 365 million, 165 million we can say conservatively as for administration, the 40%. Then you have another 200 million for development. Where is that development in Banjul?
Why do you think she's gone wrong, or her administration has gone wrong? And what would you do? I think Ali was asked this earlier, but I would like you to buttress further on this. Where has she gone wrong, and what would you do different?
Well, where has she gone wrong? I will say lack of administrative knowledge. How to administer a public institution.
You think she can't?
Yes.
What does it take one to be a good administrator?
One is knowledge. Two, experience. Three, make sure you work as a team. Make sure you work as a team.
Are you insinuating
and you have to have the knowledge.
Yeah.
You have to have the knowledge to do it. Public administration is not an easy thing to manage, especially in this country.
Are you insinuating there was no teamwork at BCC
no,
in the past 5 years?
There was not. When she came into office, she came with 5 councillors. Now she has only 2 councillors. She has only 2 councillors. And one of them have lost the seat. Okay. As a good leader, you are able to manage the council. Because council, the way council works, you have committees that work, that make recommendations to the council for decision making. The mayor does not have the sole right or to make the decisions. So you cannot personalize the institution.
I want to come in here.
He hasn't finished yet. I wanted to buttress on this. So apart from the lack of knowledge and experience to run council, as you mentioned, what else is it that is wrong with her administration?
Leadership, lack of leadership qualities, total lack of leadership qualities.
What is that unique leadership quality that Ebou Faye has that you think you are the right candidate?
One, able to bring people together, able to work as a team.
Yeah.
That one. 2, to have the vision. 3, to able to communicate your vision and have the drive to move things. Those are qualities that I have, that I will bring on the table as a mayor in the council.
Certainly, one will assume, okay, Ebou Faye must have done something in Banjul that makes him feel the people of Banjul should vote for him. When you look back, what will you point to as things that you have done for people of Banjul that makes you think, hey, you know what? I'm the right person. I have done A, B, and C for the people of Banjul.
Yes, I think that will bring us back to how I came into politics. It was never my fear to be a mayor. When I came back from my studies, I was involved in sports management in Banjul. And through that sports management, we started to build teams and able to develop our football, especially football in Banjul. And the youths saw that and told me that I should contest as a mayor. It was started about years back. It was started first by Modu Sow, then by Keba Njai Bacha, and then Kele Faba. All came for me to go because they saw me as one of their leaders that could bring them all together and we serve Banjul. There are other things, culture. When we came back, me and Solso, we saw that Banjul hunting societies, we are doing an exceptional job in Banjul. having hunting programs during Christmas. Then we came with the Capital Cultural Carnival, bringing diverse cultures different from hunting. That's why Banjul is a place to be during Christmas.
Is that a fundraising even for the organizers?
No, it doesn't generate any fund. Okay. It just doesn't generate any fund. It's just make Banjul lively for people to come to Banjul during Christmas period. That's why we bring back all these cultures together. And these are the things that people see in me and feel that, you know, being a mayor, we're able to expand that in other fields.
But is that enough to change the lives and livelihood of people of Banjul? Just organizing carnival every year?
You don't need to do anything to start as a mayor. The president, Adama Barrow, is the president. What has he done before being a president?
But isn't that a little...
So that's not something you should use as a yardstick.
Yeah, but
if you are a mayor, then you can do things.
Yeah, but isn't
but
that
you cannot look at by past experience and say you cannot do anything. Sirif Sisa is standing. What has he done for KMC?
Yeah, but
Bakari Baji is standing. What has he done for KMC? Talib before he...
But here we are talking about Ibo Faye.
Before she became the mayor, what has he done?
But here we are talking about Ibo Faye, not Talib or Bakari or Rohilo. But we are talking about you. What have you done?
But what I'm saying is you cannot use this yardstick of what have I done.
Yeah, but
that's not a yardstick that to be used to be a mayor.
But it's relevant in this case because those are things that people will look at and say, Mr. X has done A and B for us well before he came into express interest to contest for political office.
Yeah. No.
That's a yardstick that so many people use to determine whether you are the right candidate or not.
The yardstick is what you're supposed to do when you are in office.
Okay.
That's how you should be measured. And that's how we are measuring Rohey Malick Lowe in Banjul. Not what she has done before.
Let me engage you on this, Mr. Faye. Earlier you said, you mentioned that your incumbent lacked experience, lacked the ability to lead and all that. Now you are citing the likes of President Barrow or even the mayor of KMC, incumbent Talib, that when they were coming into office, they basically lacked that experience. Isn't it a little self-contradictory?
How?
Well, you said earlier that she lacked experience when she was coming in. And you cited President Barrow that when he was coming in, he lacked experience.
But I said knowledge first. That's why she failed. Knowledge first, not the experience.
Okay.
So I manage institutions.
Yeah.
But
that's where I'm coming next. I mean, you said, I quote, you said you have the vision, you are knowledgeable, your experience. Many are saying that seems to be lacking in the way you manage Independence Stadium and the Friendship Hostel, Mr. Faye.
Good question. Good question.
It's a major topic.
That can be easily asked.
They said, I mean, you are giving a hostel and you can even manage a hostel, yet you are asking to be given a whole city.
When I joined the stadium in 2012, the stadium was classified as technically bankrupt by the auditors. It was heavily indebted. Everything was bad in the stadium. I took over. Now the stadium is relevant and viable.
Really?
Yes.
But yet we cannot play our games here.
Yes, I'll come to that. I'll come to that. The stadium is relevant and viable. As the general manager, government owns the stadium. I'm managing the stadium. And if you look at the management of the stadium, there is no problem with the management of the stadium. The problem of the stadium is investment in the stadium. And who's supposed to do that is the government. Just allow me, let me continue. That's a good point. Okay. I want to clear this area. Okay. Stadium was built 1983 and finished in 1984. Up to this year, there has never been any major investment for the maintenance of the stadium by the government. How many years? So many years. In 2014, it was the first notice from CAF. They sent 2014. That's a long time. In 2014, when I went to Park Peck, and Honorable Fabokari Tombong Jatta was then the chairman of the Park Peck. I was able to bring the whole Park Peck to the stadium to look at the stadium. The state of the stadium, that requires investment.
But nothing much was done.
Nothing was done by the government. They set up a committee headed by Honorable Alaji Sila, who is a veteran sportsman, making the same recommendation that we made, that the stadium structures need to be improved. Because up to now, before the rehabilitation, when you go to the stadium, you will find the equipments of the Chinese in 1983.
Within the stadium?
Within the stadium. Sometimes people talk about the toilets. It's not about the toilets, it's the sanitation system, which is a combination of so many things. The stadium budget, the highest stadium budget is $9 million every year. 9 million. That is to pay salaries and other things, to meet our monthly obligations. And even we don't receive that whole 9 million. It's only 1 year that we received that money during the COVID, because stadium was closed and the Friendship Hotel. We lobbied for the Friendship Hotel, and $35 million was allocated. We could not access those funds from the government. So when this notice came, we sent it to the government. The reason why stadium, we were able to use the stadium all these years is because of my expertise. Because I'm a CAF general coordinator. I'm a CAF stadium inspector. So I'm able to know the areas that needed to be improved so that we can play our matches. Then CAF came then with their must-have requirements for a stadium. So for the problem of the stadium, it's not me, it's the government. Even the Ministry of Youth and Sports budget is about $120-something million. For the stadium rehabilitation is over 160-something million. How can somebody getting 9 million subvention from government rehabilitate a stadium?
Okay, that is very well understood. The issue of warehouses in Banjul, it's a major problem. People are losing their homes to all these corporate businesses. Warehouses, especially around the Habda area. What would your administration, if you happen to win, what would you do regarding these warehouses?
You see, Banjul is divided into two. You have the residential area and the commercial area.
Well, the commercial areas seem to be creeping into residential areas now.
That's it, because of warehouses. Where's the regulation to regulate warehouses? There's no regulation in Banjul. Warehouses is happening everywhere. Even 3 days ago, we were at Hill Street. You have 3 trucks parking on the road.
Isn't that government's role?
No, it's the council's role.
To make sure there are no warehouses?
There can be, we need warehouses to generate revenue. No doubt we need warehouses to generate, but they should be regulated. They should be regulated. We should make sure that in the residential area, there is no warehouse. But in the commercial area, you can come with time of pickup, time of delivery.
Which side of Banjul is meant for residential areas and which side is for the warehouses?
So when you come to Havda area, Havda area is up to Love Square, Fitzgerald, no, up to Allen Street.
Yeah.
Allen Street, that's the
for warehouses.
That's the commercial area. But you can see certain streets, like New Street, like Oxford, which is a very tiny street. To have a warehouse there. And
within the residential area?
Yeah, within the commercial area. To have a warehouse there. And you have trucks parking there. That road is no more available for anybody.
What would you do to address that?
We will come with regulation to regulate warehouses, to make sure that warehouses have their picking time, their delivery time, and also to make sure that they don't expand outside of the commercial area.
I want to come in here. I mean, you've told us the efforts you have done to improve the stadium. The hostel, what have you done about that as well?
I just said that. We lobbied for $35 million to rehabilitate the hostel. And it was agreed that we'll transform the hostel to a 3-star hotel. We couldn't access the funds from the government. We could not access the fund. And it was approved. It was approved. We followed it up. In all our engagement with the National Assembly, we followed it up to make sure that we get that money to rehabilitate the Friendship Hotel.
At some point, we also saw, work were being done to adjust the fence. At some point, it collapsed. What happened? Who was awarded this contract, and how was it awarded?
It was awarded through tender. Very simple. It was awarded through tender because we have a body responsible for that. And some of these things are under GPP regulations. And we have not been flagged by the GPP I had the mayor saying that.
Yeah.
But that
that's
period,
one thing, so you can respond to it.
That period in the Gambia, everywhere was affected by the wind. Everywhere was affected. So that's not a genuine argument.
But that's why I'm being. I'm sorry. Just respond to it.
How do you respond to those who would say, in your agenda, manifesto rather, you left out young people? How do you respond to that? And what plans do you have for the young people?
Young people are key. At least I've been somebody working for the young people for so many years. Young people are key. I haven't left out the young people because we still let's start with education first. That will bring the young people in. Honorable Usman Silla have already started the Tibet Center. How can the council collaborate with Honorable Usman Silla to make sure we expand and also promote technical training for young people? Because there are so many people who needs that. Today I went to the market, I saw young people being tailors. I was very impressed by that. So we'll work with them to get our young people there, to be trained and also to able to get the skills to able to move their life. Then the other one is, how do we have a revolving fund for young people? The other day, some young people came to me with so brilliant ideas. So my first thinking was, how can I help these people? How can I get them registered as a body? How can we get them a startup capital to able to help them, at least to start up and move on with their life? These are things that we want to do. The other things are embedded in what we are doing. When we talk about having parking in the country, you can employ young people, even though employment is not our key responsibility. But these are things that can happen with young people.
Have you developed any implementation framework for all these plans?
I have my action plan. Okay. I have my action plan. I run an institution, and an institution work on action plan. But that's not for now. For now, it's the manifesto. But when we go into office first day, we'll have our action plan. How are we going to implement all this?
Just a quick one before we go to the
local
language.
Yeah.
Banjul is very much known as a cultural city. Earlier, you did highlight efforts you've made with to revive some of these cultural groups and all that. What do you make of Council in the past 5 years, their budget and their efforts towards promoting culture in the city?
Well, we have tried as cultural capital to get support from council. We have never received any support from council. But they do support.
They've never supported you?
No, they never supported.
And they've never...
Only the previous council under Abdoulaye Ba.
But your opponent claims her administration have been supporting cultural.
In fact, they have a special budget.
Cultural, yeah, they support others. They support others, which is good.
But they did not support yours.
No. And the support, that support is question mark. That support is very good question mark.
It's questionable.
Who supported? Is it the council or the mayor? Everything we saw is the mayor who supported. And it's the council funds they are using to support. You know? So you are personalizing things that are done by the council. Previous mayors did that. If you look at, since Samba Fall supported football, sports, supported culture, supported all these things, dairas and all these things. But it was not Samba Fall, but the BCC. Honorable Abdoulaye Ba, when he came in, he did the same. But it was not him, but the council, BCC. The mayor came.
Your opponent has been personalized.
The mayor came and is her, not the BCC. And you are using BCC funds for that. What she was doing is just a continuation. The only thing wrong was personalizing it to her.
Well, Mr. Faye, this is a mayor who claims she gave out $10 million from her own funds as a claim to support women. That's
a claim. We are the women that she gave the money. We haven't seen them.
Well, viewers, I mean, you're watching TV, the Gambia Sports Private TV station, and you're broadcasting from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. This is your countdown to the local government election. My name is Aliou Cisse, and I'm here with my co-host Ansumana Esonyasi, and our guest tonight is Mr. Ebou Faye, who is the candidate for the National People's Party in Banjul. Mr. Faye, dila dalalat ci programme bi once again, I mean countdown bi. gis na ay few days moo des balaa élection bi nga war a jàkkaarloog nga ne moo nekk di incumbent Lord Mayor nga ne moo nekk Rohey Malick Lowe nga ñëw taxaw on the National People's Party nga ne moo nekk ruling party bi président Adama Barrow I mean lan moo tax nga foog ne yow yaa yelloo place bi pour doon mayor Banjul.
waaw parce que mayor bi deful dara Banjul ak kansulam bi amul dara lu mu def luñ mun a gis Banjul ku ko gis rek nañu wax ñu agree lu mu def Banjul lu mu mun a gis with revenue bi mu généré Banjul ñetti development moo fa am for the past 5 years one is the roads government bee ko def.
waaye mu ne moo liggéey Tali Dawda.
Tali Dawda was an inherited project from Laiba.
waaw jekkali na ko
moom jekkaliwu dara gisuñ lu mu jekkali loolu Tali Dawda yëpp ci projet boobu la bokk boobu la building bi ñëw te government ñëw provide the funds VCC only pay some of the counterpart for contribution to Gamworks building bi tali ak KG5 nga xam ne GFF ñoo fa def artificial turf ak lights yi apart from loolu there is nothing within the last 5 years lu nit mun a xool ne lii council moo ko fi def.
waaye
project si stade yëpp a fail.
waaw ñu ne indi nañ ñaari trucks am na ñaari almost 4 I guess that's what the mayor said am nañ ñu dem ba 4 trucks exactly and then you know am nañ ay mbalit no paani mbalit si kër yëpp pour mun a jël ci nañ collecte nañ was bi
ñaari trucks lañ am ñaari trucks
yow nga dëkk bañ nga ne doo dee gis yooyu
waaw ñu lay dëkk de fa laay eewoo fa laay fanaan fa laay defee lu nekk fa laay toog
waaye mais yow mu ne trucks yi di njëriñ romba sa bunti néeg sa bunti kër la njëriñ romba
ñaari trucks whole Banjul nga joxe beans whole Banjul beans du feesee lakale ñoo da ngaa dem si Johnson yi fekk nit ñi because mbalit kenn mënut a dëkkaa moom da ngaa dem fekk ko si boppi koñ bi ñu ngi ko fa teg
waaye léegi yow lan plan nga am pour waa Banjul
moom laa la wax moo ne first thing mooy xam nga yow mbalit nga indi da nga bëgg ñu adresse mbalit
ñu ko adresse
ñu adresse mbalit
wax nga yi fi jànga wax nga yi fi flotte bi waaye dañ ko
wax naa mbalit bi wax naa la mbalit bi di key important points in mbalit mooy transport collection and treatment yooyu di key 3 important things in mbalit doo amul moto yu bari doo mun a collect mu normal it's simple ñaari moto mënut a collect mbalit bi yëpp suñ xelaat mooy naka la ñoo yokkee moto yi garbage trucks yi moto mbalit yi ñu yokkaleen to 7 6 7 then ñu move on to moo moto mbalit nga xam ne collection bi dafa nekk every day du nekk every 3 days 2 days ba mbalit di des biir Banjul treatment bi mu nga xew si dom side bi fa ñoo tuuri mbalit bi naka la ñoo amee partnership am koo xam ne jànga na naka la ñoo wéccee mbalit bi pour ba nga xam ne dafaa nekk alel pour council bi gis nañ best practices all over the world naka la ñoo jàngee si ñoom naka la ñoo trainer suñ staff si bañ ko mun nga xam ne dinañ mun a def loolu.
yaa ngi doon wax si gannaaw maa ngi enjoy sa exchange avec Aliou mais sa opponent bi deful dara biir ci juróomi at yi passé bi mu ñëwee fii laaj nañ ko lu mel noonu waaye ci tontoom wax na ne moom bi moo ñëw council amoon na bor boo xam ne mënuñ ko woon a fay dañ ameloon banque yi amel nawek time boobu amuñ woon courant amuñ ndox waaye moom bi mu ñëwee ci weer yi njëkka fexe na ak councilor yi ba gis ne loolu génne na fa fay nañ bor yi fay nawek amalatuñ kenn ci affaire yi mbalit bi tam wax na ne jéngu nañ bi am ay troc wax nga ne yow gisuloo troc waaye am nañ tamit ay paan yoo xamante ne paani mbalit yi ñu yóbbu ali su ndewe ndaw kër bu nekk am na suy ñaar sax am na paani mbalit wax na tamit ci lu jëm ci ñiy liggéey biir council bi mu ñëwee di yokk na seen fay waaye loolu yëpp yow wax nga ne gisuloo ko wax na tamit si scholarship pour students yi lan nga foog ne la waroon a def ci diggante bi lim defut te yow su dee ne te yàlla wërsëgal na la nga falu di nga ko defee ci anam boo xamante ne askan gi dinañ ci njëriñoo.
waaw wax nga ñaari yëpp nga ne scholarship yàgg nañ koo joxe council yàgg na koo joxe waaye council bi ñoo ko daan joxe not mayor bi yow mayor mënuloo jël rek de toog rek approuve ko joxe loolu council bi ñoo ko daan joxe.
fanaa moom sax council la wax de. mu ne si jamonoom.
waaye ñi jox scholarship yëpp si turi mayor bi lañ ko joxe te am na ñoo xam ne kaas lañ leen jox. fayuñu institution bi odasaan du ñëwee si yëfi mbalit bi wax nañ ko wax naa yëfi mbalit bi naka lañ ko adressé yëfi office bi mu ne fay na bor bi yëpp boobu dinañ xam na fay na bor na fayut bor bi yëpp xam nga boobu moom duñ duggee office by force ñu def staff audit dinañ def financial audit ba pare dinañ jéem a xam asset si council am boobu will come with a white paper pour wane ne lii mooy lii mooy léeg mu ne fay na bori nawet bi da daa taal generator boobu moom mënu ma see wax mocc waaw mënu ma see wax mocc ak lana
waaye fooguloo ne loolu tamit yokkute la nu mu ndaw yokkute la
waaw du fekkee yokkute la parce que da nga jógee from one source to other source how can council operate si generator dafa seer de li nga jël pour fay generator every day council bi du doore 8 o'clock ba 4 o'clock doo ko dajalee doo demee nawet am plan di nga mun a fay man bi maa jël stadium loolu la woon dañu daan dog every month boo dañ meeg soo ne ñu amee plan with nawet pour mun a fay deb boobu noonu ba nga xam ne duñ ñu mun a tee dog
Mr Faye comme ni ma ko waxee rek bi ne ko di first time ngay contest in 2018 contest nga ñàkk si Rohey Malick Lowe la nga foo xam ne loolu moo waraloon ba nga ñàkk 2018 nga foo ne this time lan moo wecceeku ba nga feel ne yow yaa mën a war a mën a gagné.
non li man li tax ma ñàkk mooy ñi ma toppoon ñëpp amuñu woon voters card.
kon mbaa loolu amul yoon bi tam Mr Faye.
because yaa ngi 2018 ba.
mun naa am de mun naa am de.
non fi mu nekk ñëpp a am voters card.
nga fi ñu bari maas eso mun naa am dañuy sol tisa bi rek tam maas ñu maam seen ngom yi ñoom asmaaw mu ne pare Mumbai bi de.
non make nañ soo ne loolu address because we work very well because election 3 phases la you have the registration the campaign and the mobilization during election day. And we did well in the mobilization, in the registration pour make sure ne man suma family sax am na ñoo xam ne Kombo lañ dëkk register wuñu woon Kombo they have to move to Banjul te ñu ngi ma toppoon so mënuñ maa votal so we make sure ne ñu adresse loolu ñoom ñëpp am karta.
lan mooy sa gis-gis si corruption lan mooy sa stance on corruption ak itamit tey soo doon def jàngat ci juróomi at yi passé sa opponent bi naka nga foogee ne la diilee ak corruption soo gisee maay laajte lii maa ngi follow seen campagne
bi
and gis naa yenn videos online ñi yoo xam ne ñu ngi sol sa t-shirt ñu ngi sàccee ndax sa gis-gis la yooyu tamit ne xëj na sàcca mu ngi doon am ci diggante bi nii.
waaw parce que li ñoo wax mooy waxoon naa ko fi yow doo collecté 365 millions within 5 years.
Mr Faye yow noo xamee lii parce que yow nekkuloo in council. nan nga xamee ne council li tugo bi lañ dee am yow yaa na in council.
because ñu ngi am budget ba pare honorable Ousmane Silla bi moo nekk.
waaw nga ne wala budget is estimate it's more like estimate of what you expect to receive ak li nga war a spend.
anam nga
déedéet budget goes back pour wane li nga amoon passé yi si. budget no ko ne what you want to have to receive and what you have to spend that's one aspect but it also tells you li nga revenue bi nga amoon last time because you need to work on the actuals. And to work on the actuals you need to know. lan nga ñaata nga amoon waaw ba pare li honorable Ousmane Silla sax laajoon na ko minister of lands time bi moo nekk si National Assembly council si ñaata lañ lan mooy revenue bi ñu am up to certain period and it was public knowledge so you get the information da nga am information because budget council bi is for public is for the public so di nga xam ne council bi am nañ this amount of money lii lañ spend on administration lii lañ war a spend on development 200 million gisuñ fan lañ ko spend Banjul EU bi jox nañ leen 160 million dalasi that is 3 million euro guy rek lañ si gis si bij bi gannaaw loolu gisuñ dara fuñ spend xaalis boobu Banjul anamu.
ok ku la xam la ci football ak yëfi tàggat yaram te xam naa ne yow one of the top football administrators si réew mi. xam nañ tamit ne FIFA duy entertain yëfi political interference ci football te yàlla def na nga dugg ci politics dama bëggoon a xam rek ndax da nga resign ci football bi pour focus ci politics bi ndax resign loo ak itamit su dee yàlla wërsëgal na la nga win ndax di nga bàyyi football bi nga xam ne nga ci loolu nga nekk.
football moom du ma ko bàyyi football mooy suma life is my public face. dañ na léegi la politique ñëw rek indi ma si public bi.
waaye resign loo.
non nii duma pour resign. GFF amee board member am not a staff. li ma liggéeyal CAF am not a staff. dañ maa niit rek informe ma du ma munee dem ma liggéeyal leen. oda saaga stadium laay liggéey ñoo maa fay salary ñoo ma employé foofu laa dut mun a liggéeyaat.
So as we speak, have you resigned as a general manager?
No, I did leave nga jël.
Leave nga jël.
The requirement you take a leave of 1 year.
Okay.
You know.
What dama bëgg a xam rek, I mean, ñu bare ñu ngi wax ne ok Ebou Faye nekk na general manager Independence Stadium, nekk na head nga mu ngi jiite hostel bi. Waaye soo xoolee anam bu stadium bi nekk right now is so bad. ñu bari ñu ngi wàccee waaye Ebou Faye mënut a manage stadium ak hostel mu ne nañ ko jox pour mu nekk mayor Banjul.
non mooy li ma see tontu rek mooy stadium bi amul management problème. Stadium bi investment problème la am. and investment boobu government bi ñoo ko war a def. stadium bi biñ ko bilee ba léegi 1983 ba léegi government musu see invest xaalis pour liggéey stadium bi moo tax doo fa demee ba léegi da nga faa fekk bagage yi Chinese yi bil stadium bi in 1983.
waaye yéen xaalis bi ngeen accrue from events yu dee am si stadium bi yaa ngeen afi fi management loolu seen responsibility for example PIC bi yéen a ngi ko open to musical concerts just your responsibility loolu nekkul government because you are the general manager. It's your responsibility for get manage those facilities. Legi under your watch, gis ne ground bi yaaxu na because of musical concert yu fa day am.
The musical concert
and also xaalis bi ngeen dee am si concert yëpp fa lañ ko dee dugal.
Musical concert mënut a yaaxa ground.
Mr. Faye for real.
Waaw because the strategies balaa musical concert 3 days doo dee water field bi. am ne ñax bi dafa tëdda nga def fa ba pare musical concert ay di ma ko waxee stadium $9 million la dee am budget government bi every month dañu war a jox about $500 and something thousand liñ ñu joxee lu bëree ba bëri ay $300 and something thousand pour mu ñu noo fay salary fay nawet fay yeneen yi fan lañ koo jëlee te ñun biñ nekkee stadium ba léegi musu ñoo ñaaka fay salary so moo tax events yooyu yëpp ba da nga koo am benn time try nañ pour stop musical concert but political pressure ba mu indi coow ñun ñoo ST ñu bàyyi ko.
even after event boobu gis nañ pib bi nu meloon te Franc mu ngi ñëwoon at least a week or two before an international game.
and we have to work hard pour indi ko up to standard and we have to work hard. During that period we invested over 100,000 pour improve the standard pour ñu play fa. As I said, because of my expertise as a stadium inspector for CAF and grand coordinator nañ dee mun a xam areas yi ñu mun a invest waaye government ñoo defut xaalis si stadium pour ñu mun a liggéey stadium loolu du suma responsibility but stadium amul ban bi maa jël stadium andi ma leen ko waxee it was classified as technically bankrupt but léegi is relevant bañ ko liggéeyaat léegi is relevant and viable and nag doo seetee àdduna si yëpp stadium yi viable yëpp mooy stadium yi nga xam ne ay Real Madrid Manchester ñu ngi fa play every week mu ngay generate revenue stadium bi football matches football matches la day am du bëri ba bëri ba fees del
lan la mayoloo ñaaka li nekk si yow si qualities lu war a tax waa Banjul war laa dénk seen carte
force mooy indi nit ñi together to serve the people bring people together
mun na ko
loolu man suma quality la to work with a team to able to accept diverse opinion ñu talk ñu wax ñu agree on something ñu move on because man I have opinions and I express my opinions to make things work second moom lu ma bëgg a def dinaa ko def I have that drive pour make sure ne things happen na third mooy knowledge I try to read and learn from different sources pour mun a am the knowledge but bi maa ñëw stadium du ma daan manage stadium but when I came I was able to move the stadium from the level bi mu nekk to another level so knowledge is important communication di waxa nit ñi
xam naa ne contest nga 2018 maa ngi fàttaliku keroog bi nga nominate bokk nga ci li nga jëkka nga ne mooy sa priorité gis ne flood bi am Banjul mu métti woon lool boo nga gis ne loolu mu nekk loo xam ne lu amaat la biir Banjul wala sax bu amee xëy na du garaaw comme ni mu xewee woon waaye soo dégloo sa opponent si seen campagne li ñu wax mooy bi Banjul doon flood last year fan la Ebou Faye nekkoon.
maa ngi fa woon and maa ngi doon contribute a lot but I was not in office to do that much as council bi liñ war a def moo tax ñu xelaat ñun ñu ne flooded bi dafa métti woon Banjul doo seetee Tubaakuruun London Corner Ima Omar Sow Losawaaf Anglesey fii nii nakaati Hopkinson yooyu yëpp a flood ba am na kër yoo xam ne biir Banjul dañ flood yàlla nag moom du xam waaye ñun nit ñoo war a xelaat naka la ñoo saafara loolu moo tax ñu ne ñun duñ duggee first day in office li ñoo discuss mooy am a team task force pour look at these things keroog ñu ngi dem Losawaaf nga gis niñ bloqué Ring canal bi because Banjul dafa am pax yu ndaw am pax yu mag ba pare am canal bi pax yu ndaw yi ñooy tuur si pax yu mag yi yóbbu ko si canal bi tubaab yi liñ jagar dafa baax dafa solve problème yi Banjul so ñun ñu duggee dinañ jéem a seet amee task force amee team invite a team council bi war naa mun a am knowledge boobu di director of technical services nawek am nañ ñu am knowledge odasan Hadim Gay mi jagar tali yu baax yooyu noonu am na knowledge then you bring in other 1 or 2 people ñoo xam ne am nañ knowledge in addressing this issue ñu amee task force ak councilors yi because councilors yi ñii ñëpp daf leen affect from Kampama to Halfday.
Mr. Faye am nga yaakaar ne dëgg win election
so naka la ñoo adressé
we're running out of time am nga yaakaar ne
waaw
election
xelaatuma ko sax
di nga ko win
waaw for sure
am na li Aliou laajoon si anglais ma dellu si waat
pour ñu gaari because we're running out of time
just quickly tey su nit doon def gestu tey si lan nga mën a teg sa baaram ne lii de man maa ko def biir Banjul li war a tax ñu war laa tànn seen carte yow
on the 20 seconds because time is
lan moo
waaw def naa lu bari Banjul jarut a wax waa Banjul xam nañ man li ma def bañ ma tànn pour ma taxawal leen
loo am li nga wax waa Banjul in just 10 seconds
di leen woon rek ne nañ génn a dem sànni ci carte campagne bi jeex na def nañ ko si jaama ak salaam problème amul élection waru ñëw boole ñun ñëpp benn lañ élection on the 20th la on the 24th ñu delluwaat ñooy ànd dem suñ takka yi suñ sëy yee suñ ngénte yee yëpp so nañ ko def si jaama sànni karta ñu win celebrate liggéey Banjul.
Good luck, Mr. Faye.
Jërëjëf, good luck, Mr. Faye. Thank you so much for coming on the countdown. We quite appreciate your being here. Asman, thank you so much for being here as well. Well, viewers, with that, we bring an end to today's edition of your countdown. Do join us tomorrow. We'll be having Yankuba Dabo, who is the UDP candidate for Brikama Area Council. He'll be here with us, or a representative from his team will be here with us. Until then, have a wonderful night and goodbye from me. Bye-bye.